Fáilte go dtí our 21-day Learn the Lore challenge on the irishpaganschool.com. And if you're just joining us, then please do go and check out the rest. Join up, enroll with the challenge at the Irish Pagan School, and you can get the rest of the 21-day videos. Okay? So we are currently in the process of looking at the Dinnshenchas, the lore of place names, as a lore source, a very, very rich and productive lore source, and there are multiple different versions of it. So if you haven't seen yesterday's video, do go and check that out, because we are looking at the River Barrow. And we looked yesterday at the Edward Gwynn translation of the metrical Dinnshenchas. And what I would like to do is share the screen with you. And we are going to look at a modern Irish scholar's translation of this. So we're here on the storyarchaeology.com website, which is a fantastic blog and podcast, and I'm trying to get them on Patreon currently. They're a little bit reluctant, but if you do come across them, I will put links down below to all of this, and please do like, subscribe, and get your hands on their resources and support them as much as you can. So Isolde Carmody has done the translation here. The story archaeology team is Chris Thompson and Isolde Carmody. Fantastic, fantastic people. So Isolde's translation says, "The barrow, lasting its silence, which reaches across the host of old Alva. It is a duty of knowledge to find out the reason. Its name is boiling, the flower of every renowned word. It is not agitation, i.e., it was stillness, that was caused in it by the ashes of Mecha, great destructions. It silenced and it cooked the river beyond redress, the bitter filth of the old serpent. The serpent 3 times ventured, stalking the plunderer to consume him. From its behaviour, it would have gnawed all the troops of the peaceful host of old Ireland. Because of that, Machecht killed it. There were severe sanctions arising from the pure slaughter, for preventing it eternally from the destruction, beyond all sanctuary, from the total consumption. Its grave is known to me, the part where he threw it, a tomb without house and without covering. Its bad ashes, with no harmless character, it found peace in the noble barrow." So rather than reinvent the wheel, I'm going to defer to Isolde's excellent scholarship here, and we're going to take a quick look through the notes that she's left. So the plain of Alva, Mac Alva, that's mentioned above, and it's also mentioned in Gwynn's translation here, the folk of old Alva. So that is an area of Leinster. So Leinster would be the eastern province, and parts of the Wicklow Mountains, Shlumargy in County Laois, and parts of counties Kildare and Carlow east of the River Barrow. So Berba is the Barrow River, and the word Berba itself means boiling, melting, dissolving. The O'Daveron's glossary, the word is analysed in order to make sense of the calmness of the river. So ber or beer, ishka, water, and ba, boliv, dumb, silent, stammering. The barrow is largely slow and flat, with only with only one natural weir. It is tidal as far in as St. Mullins in County Carlow, and it makes a good salmon river and has a decent otter population. Otters. So hopefully you will have found out a lot of that stuff from your yesterday's action point, and you will be up to date on the environmental information around the River Barrow. Now, this is where we get to our first kind of major diversions. Let me just check that. Dinnshenchas is supposed to be who slew Mecha in Gwyn's translation, where Isolde has it as Machecht. And Machecht is one of the sons of Kermit, I believe. He's definitely the Dagda's grandson. So let me just get the Irish. Where are we? You'll see that the Irish is included with Isolde's translation. So it very clearly says Machecht here. And Dinnshenchas may have been substituted in by Gwyn because he wasn't aware about Machecht, or it could be that Dinnshenchas and Machecht appear in different manuscript versions, or rather than presume somebody's ignorance. And there are a couple of different, now Dinnshenchas is the healer, and one of the possible readings of this whole story is that Mecha carried a plague or represented a plague. So being cured by the healer makes sense, Dinnshenchas, the healer of the Tuatha Dé Danann. However, Machecht is the son of the plough. He is one of the three brothers who are sons of Kermit, yes, scummy, grandsons of the Dagda. And his brothers were Macraina, the son of the sun, and Machul, the son of Hazel. Machecht was said to be married to Fotla, divisions, and his two brothers to her two sisters, Eru, land, and Banva, which may be movement or deeds. So three grandsons of the Dagda married to the three of the sovereign goddesses of Ireland. So, you know, that's not by accident. All three women were supposed to give their names to Ireland in turn, though Fotla and Banva have only been used poetically to refer to the country. So, whether it is Dinnshenchas or Machecht, there's obviously a lot going on there, represented by the person who slayed Mecha. So Mecha as a name, Isolde says, is difficult to analyze. Closest I have come is the term Mehi, meaning blight, which seems apt given the description of the serpent in this poem. His epithet, more milchy, which is great destructions, also seems appropriate. He's most definitely a serpent, as the term used is nahar, cognate with the English word adder, basically, nather. Now I'm just going to go back to the text and we're going to have a look. So, Mechi more milchi. And this, as I said, is known as a son of the Mórrígan. And that one is kind of hard to figure out, and we're going to leave that aside. We might look at that when we're looking at the prose tales and various other versions. But this 3 times, so you might have heard various things about, you know, 3 hearts and 3 serpents and all the rest of it, and that comes from different versions. So what we have here is the serpent 3 times ventured, stalking the plunderer to consume him. From its behaviour it would have gnawed all the troops of the peaceful host of old Ireland. So that reads as a, you know, a monster rather than a plague or, you know, something like that. But it's hard to kind of tell exactly what was being discussed there. But what I would like for your action point for today is for you to interpret what you think is going on here. And, you know, like we've had before, the discussion will be interesting. There'll be varied viewpoints, and to a greater or lesser degree, nobody's, you know, essentially right or wrong. It is discussion. It is educated guessing to, for the most part, from anybody really who is looking at this kind of work. So don't be shy about it, you know, and nobody's going to be laughing at you or whatever if you get it wrong, because there is no wrong as such to get it, unless you go completely way off on a tangent and, you know, you're projecting. Really is how people most often go wrong with their readings and their interpretations of the lore. So your action point is to, in the comments below or in the Facebook group, or even just, yourself, have a think in your own journal. If you'd prefer not to share, that's fine. You have a think about what this story is telling you and what it represents. And so we're not just looking at the lore, we're actually interacting with it, and we're building relationship with it as we go. So do subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications so that you get updates when new videos are available, and go over to the irishpaganschool.com if you haven't joined there already, and have a look at the 21-day challenge, learn the lore, and you can join for free. Okay, and if you're already a member, then I will see you in the Facebook group, and I will leave a link to the Facebook group below just in case anybody hasn't joined up yet. You can pop over and do that today. So, slán go fóill.